by the way, this is a Dinan Stage 2 tune. Let's get going. Oh, the upshifts are hard. This thing moves. Wow. You know what? All the character in this car is up top. Comparing the Dinan Stage 2 to the arcade tune, I will say that Dinan preserved the top end of this car. So when you rev it out, you actually feel the car pulling all the way to redline, whereas the arcade tune really beefed up the torque in the mid-range. Both have their excitement, both have their pros and cons. This tune probably is more befitting of an M car, if I were to be honest. The biggest problem with this engine is that when you're going really slow, it kind of sounds like a Dodge Caravan. Ready? When you get the revs up, it actually doesn't sound bad. It actually sounds pretty good. This Dinan Stage 2 tune makes this car really fast. The rear end of this car is alive. I highly recommend leaving it in MDM mode at all times, because otherwise you will lose the rear end very quickly. The rear end is way too loose on this car to be driving it without traction control. You need traction control in this car, but when it is on, it still allows you to feel the car. It doesn't numb it, but it is fast. And if you were trying to just get somewhere very, very quickly, this is a really impressive car to do it in. I do notice that the steering is a little like artificially heavy. The initial bite of the clutch is pretty aggressive, so you do need to be really ginger on that throttle when you first get off the line. Right now it's in the sportiest mode. I'm gonna put it in the lowest mode and we're gonna find out if it slips the clutch a little more. Still pretty aggressive. While the E92 M3's V8 was a high-strung 8,000 RPM power machine with very little torque, this car is kind of the opposite. It makes a lot of fun turbo whooshy noises. It spins the tires. The seating position in the F80 compared to the E92 is a little more sporty. I'm lower to the floor. The wheel is a little more eye level. I love the style of the four-door more than I love the style of the F82 M4. It very much lets you know that this has something going on under the hood. The panel gaps on these cars are a lot nicer, honestly, than the E90, E92s. This bumper lines up a little better. I mean, it's not perfect, it's still not hand-built, but it's better. There are two latches for this, so when you pull open the hood, you've got to open the hood twice. You have to pull the latch twice. Kind of annoying. I'm always curious about the design of that because I'm wondering that if they were testing it, did they have the hood fly back? Did they pull a vehicle virgins? I think everything under here looks pretty good, except I never liked the design of this box here. I think this looks kind of cheap. And when you're paying $80,000 for a car, you'd think it would look a little prettier when you show it off to your friends. The F80 M3 is an unbelievable Grand Tourer, except the fuel tank's pretty small and this thing drinks fuel. I think if this had like a good 21 gallon tank, I couldn't find much fault with this as a highway cruiser. Things that are like really redeeming about this car: the seating position. The interior is fantastic. Very rarely do I actually enjoy carbon fiber trim. This is actually like nice carbon fiber trim. The E92's charm comes all from the drivetrain. That car has a brilliant engine. This car, not so much. But this is a solid car, and I think it's much more daily drivable. Where I think this car falls short is that I think it maybe has too much torque, because mid-corner for a novice, throttle articulation needs to be extremely precise, or else you are just gonna lose it everywhere. So driving this car fast is an exercise in restraint. Brakes are phenomenal. So, all in all, phenomenal car. Phenomenal car. Oh, and by the way, it's on Turo. The fact that you can travel to Boston, go on Turo, and rent this exact M3 is very cool. Because if I had to move 4 people and I didn't want a boring car, this is probably the way to do it. I'm gonna put a link below to this car, so if for whatever reason you're traveling to Boston and you need a cool, fun car, you can take this one.